It's from R.J. Anderson. It's CBSSports.com. And it is the top 20 MLB free agents. The predictions of where they will land. So just predictions, folks. Top 20. First of all, let's do a little trivia. Some questions here. Do you think the Cardinals are predicted to land any of these top 20? How many? Anybody?
All 20.
Bueller? Jim Heuer?
None.
0.
That's what I'm going with.
0.
That's what I'm thinking.
And how about this?
Right?
I'll mention the name. Where do you think this player will... And we'll go fast, okay? Because I want to get back to second cousin talk. But...
There's some funny text going on here, too.
I could not even imagine what's
here we go.
Right
Carlos Correa, number 1. Where's he going? Anybody? Yell him out. Just somebody say a team.
Mariners.
Jim, Brooke, come on. Carlos Correa.
Going back to Houston.
All right, they got Yankees. Number 2 player, Corey Seager, who I want for the Cardinals, who's a perfect fit, hits lefty. I don't think they're going to go that route. I think they're going to stay in-house with Edmundo Sosa and Paul DeJong, or maybe get a backup utility type. Where do you think Corey Seager's going? This will tick off Cardinal fans.
Back to the Yankees.
Chicago.
How about the Cubbies?
Really?
Corey Seager to the Cubs.
I know.
That's going to be...
A former Cub, Chris Bryant. Where's he going? Number 3.
Reds.
Anybody?
Blues.
Mets?
That's a prediction. Remember, this is just a prediction from a CBS Sports writer. Marcus Semien, another fantastic middle infielder. Can play shortstop. Marcus Semien, number 4. Where's he going?
Chicago.
Mariners.
Yeah, I got confused with
this one. Should be easy. Freddie Freeman, number 5. Where's he going?
He better be going back to
AAA ball.
No, he's got to go back to Atlanta.
Although there's rumors today he talked to the Yankees already.
Well, that's just a smart agent right there.
Yeah.
He has to go back.
He does.
He has to go back. Why didn't they? And I don't know this story, but the fact that they've locked up Acuna Jr. and also Ozzie Albies, but the deal with those were very club friendly. There were a lot of people, even the Acuna deal, which is $100 million, that man left a lot of money on the table. So I wonder if Freddie Freeman did not want to sign the club friendly version, but he's getting paid now. You can believe that. Mm-hmm. He's about to get paid.
Like what? 220 schmil?
He's about 30, I believe.
Well, look, are you
5-year deal?
Yeah, I would think it's going to be a $200 million deal. I would think.
Are you surprised that the Cardinals aren't here? Because didn't Mosaic? Unless I'm like, I know I saw this somewhere on Twitter. Somebody tweeted out. Maybe it was Derek Gould of the Post-Dispatch. That didn't Mosaic said that they're targeting pitchers?
Yes.
So it doesn't surprise me.
But
right?
there's
but
a lot of pitchers.
I know that people will be disappointed, but it doesn't surprise me that they aren't going after Corey Seager. He kind of made it clear that they weren't.
Yeah, but I do think that's a need. It's a clear need, and you have the greatest shortstop market we've ever had.
Yeah.
There's like 5 dudes that are really good, which is why most of those top prospects I just mentioned, a lot of them are shortstops.
Unless
by the way,
Mosaic is gaslighting us and just doesn't want us to think he's doing
Yeah. I feel like he usually kind of says what he's thinking. Now, every once in a while, like last year, I'll be honest, last year it really surprised me that they went out and traded for Nolan Arenado. Remember all that offseason? But it was a perfect
deal. You'd be crazy not to.
No, you're right. But all that offseason, you would read these articles, or a radio host or a TV person would say, oh, the Cardinals, the perfect fit. It's either Francisco Lindor or Nolan Arenado. And I would think to myself, well, sure, they're both perfect fits. They're not going to happen. That's why it's so surprising that they did pull off. It also was the deal of the century.
Yeah.
It's a deal.
You would be crazy to
get the guy fired.
Well, and he should have. I mean, Jeff Bridich, I know he had no leverage in that situation, but man, that was just one of the worst trades I've ever seen for the Rockies. Just a terrible, terrible trade. So Freddie Freeman just played his age 31 season, so he's a little older than I thought. He's already turned 32. So, yeah, maybe he doesn't get a 10-year deal. I mean, wouldn't you think he's going to get $25 million a year, though, for at least 5 years, 6 years?
God.
Jim?
Crazy money.
That's a lot of jack, but if anybody...
Okay, Stan.
He will get... I'll say he'll get maybe not 25, but he'll get 20-something from the Braves for 5 years, because he's the icon there. They got to keep him.
So he did, actually, now that I look it up. So he signed, and calling it club-friendly, yeah, so he signed a deal earlier when he was very young. So he was making $22 million a year the last couple of years. So he's made over $20 million the last 5 seasons.
Oh, well, I
he
didn't
just signed it
realize that.
earlier so that he's hitting free agency now as a 32-year-old. But if you're coming off 2 seasons where you made $22 million, you just won the World Series, you're the face of the franchise, even though Acuna's there too, and Acuna is awesome, but Freddie Freeman has been the face of that organization for the last 5 years or so, and you're coming off a year where it wasn't your greatest, but he was the MVP in the shortened COVID season. So he's going to get $25 million AAV.
Right.
He should.
No doubt. Maybe
I have to agree with that part.
I mean, it could even be close to 30. Who knows?
Signing a big player will put the Cardinals past the wild card game, and that's not what Mozeliak is aiming to do.
You don't think Mozeliak is aiming for that?
He
Well,
should
that's
be
flashback.
aiming for it, but I get his point.
Splashback chiming in.
Yeah.
I do think, though, that this year, because it's Yachty and Waino's last year,
You got to go all out.
well, I think they'll sign a really solid reliever. Will they sign a legit starting pitcher, or will it be a value type guy who maybe's coming off an injury? I don't know. I would think, though, if they're knocking on the door at the trade deadline, this has to be the year. If you're a legit contender, if you're in first place in the division, and you know it's Yachty and Waino's last year, and the fan base has crushed you for the last 5
Yes,
years
they have.
when you haven't really been, when I say active, this year they made some moves, and those moves ended up being way better than we all thought. I think we all can agree on that. But they weren't moves to win you a World Series. They were literally moves to get you through the season that ended up working much better.
But do you think it was a little bit of a wake-up call for the organization when they were mediocre at best, and you saw people didn't show up to some of these games? Now, we talked about this a million times over, COVID, this, that, the other, but they saw a drop in attendance.
Yeah, and I think when they cited their actual attendance this year, and that is tickets sold, it ended up not being that bad, but we were also watching the games, Cam, as you said. And I was at some of those games where
Scarce.
there was not very many people in there. And one of the series that really comes to mind was I went there with my mom to one of those Braves games right after the trade deadline. And that was a series that the Braves won with their assets, with the Jorge Solers of the world, with the Adam Duvalls of the world, not even to mention Eddie Rosario, who went crazy in the postseason. But the Cardinals and Braves were about the same record-wise around that time. And the Braves made some significant, legit big league moves to get players that, I mean, guys that hit 40 homers like Jorge Soler and 30-plus homers, Eddie Rosario, Jock Peterson, Adam Duvall.
And those were the difference makers in the World Series.
Right. And they made a playoff run, and they won the World Series. And the Cardinals, they got guys that fit their needs. And I'll be the first one to say that Jay Happ and John Lester worked way better than anybody thought they would. And Luis Garcia and T.J. McFarland. But also, those weren't moves to really give them a shot to win big.
No.
And they still did well with that. I'm just saying, next year, if you're on pace for 95 wins or 100 wins, you got to go for it next year.
You're damn right you do.
This upcoming year.
I feel like that's only fair to Yachty as well.
Yeah.
You know, obviously fair for the team, fair for the fan base, but also for Yachty for what he's done for the organization. I feel like that's only fair to go all in because he wants to do this final ride and wants to probably end on a high note, I would assume. I mean,
they got the tools to do it anyway. There's still a piece or two away, but you're close enough to say, yeah, we'll do it for Yachty. But, you know, if they're terrible and you're trying to go on and you make, you know, bad business decisions for Yachty, it's like, okay, but you're already there. You're right there. Let me get one text real quick from Jimmy D, because, you know, he's got a point here. I hate to be Scrooge, but after listening to Scott Boras talk the other day about tanking for draft positioning and that being part of the collective bargaining agreement, I don't think we're going to be seeing baseball for a long time.
There will be a work stoppage.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lockout on
There's
December 2nd.
Yes, there's going to be a lockout 100%.
Probably not going to have winter warm-up.
Well, I wonder if
we're
going to
take the show down there.
Now, winter warm-up is at a different spot now. It's at Ballpark Village this year.
Is it at Ballpark Village?
Oh, I thought it was in
They
Florida.
did move it. They did move it.
I thought it was
in Florida.
Interesting. But hold on.
Wait, what?
That's an interesting question, though, because if there's a lockout that starts, as Jim said, December 2nd and in February, can you have your players do winter warm-up? And I know that's not our focus,
if you see,
but that's interesting.
Well, if you actually, I'm pretty sure on the tickets it says reason for cancellation, just for if you purchase it, whether something health related like COVID-19, and I think a work stoppage, something like the CBA's in there as well.
MLB free agents, number 6. Robbie Ray, prediction, Blue Jays. Max Scherzer, prediction, Giants. Kevin Gausman, prediction, Angels. Marcus Stroman, prediction, Mariners. Starling Marte, Tigers. Trevor Story, Rangers. Chris Taylor, the Cardinal Killer, Blue Jays. These are predictions, folks. Javi Baez, Phillies. Nick Castellanos, Phillies. Seiya Suzuki, who's playing in Japan, Rangers. Clayton Kershaw, Rangers. Justin Verlander, Dodgers. These are just predictions. Noah Syndergaard, back to the Mets. Eduardo Rodriguez already has signed with the Tigers. Big contract. He was the 19th best free agent.
Tigers are all in.
Tigers.
Who the hell would want to play for Toronto, by the way?
Well, Toronto's pretty fun, though, man. They got a lot of young studs.
I don't care. I just don't care. Why would you want to play for Toronto in the MLB?
It is a big market.
I don't know.
They have a team that could win the World Series next year.
I don't know. Kenley
Jansen to the Dodgers. I was surprised. You have heard the Rangers are supposed to spend a lot of money. I can see that. The Tigers, is their window now really opening next year to win?
Maybe. They think so.
Yeah.
They had a better second half.
They did.
And they've got 3 young arms that are just about ready to take off. So if they can supplement and work around that group, they'll be pretty good. And they got Tucker Barnhart also.
Yeah, that Tarek Skubal is good. Strikes out a ton of dudes. Casey Mize is really good. And then you have the number 1 pick coming, the hitter, Spencer Torkelson, who's very close to the big leagues.
They'll be pretty good next year. Watch out.
I can't wait, though. If Corey Seager really does sign with the Cubs, I just think that's going to tick off a lot of Cardinal fans.
Oh, it is.
So it's always fun. That's the fun of the free agency period in the winter and the hot stove. First of all, talking about it, which is why it's going to be a huge buzzkill when December 2nd comes. If you're going to have, because that's the thing, you're going to have no baseball activity.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, now you're seeing a couple deals, Andrew Haney, Eduardo Rodriguez. If you're a big name guy, don't you think you want to wait until after? Or if you're a team, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Aren't you waiting to sign a $200 million contract until you know what's going on?
Yeah, you think so.
Wouldn't that suck, though, if you didn't have any money and all of a sudden you're about to sign a pretty good ticket and you're just locked out? Get a year out. I don't know. That's tough.
It's also going to tick off. It's going to tick off baseball fans because, Cam, we talked about this a couple years ago when both hockey and baseball, I guess it was COVID, right? They were discussing how to return to sports in the COVID era. The NHL seemed to figure it out behind closed doors, whereas baseball, everything was leaked. And it looked really bad because all of the fighting was very public in the media. So I hope baseball does a better version of that. However, I don't think they will.
Yeah, you're right. You're right with that. And remember, I chirped the NHL about kind of being followers. In that sense, they were ahead of the curve. They got the bubble going. They did their thing. They kept everything kind of hush-hush with different stuff. So they're pretty good at different things. But as a whole, there's a lot to chirp.
Can I just say one last thing?
Of course.
Oh,
the Cardinals just tweeted this out, just so that you guys know. That Turner Ward has joined the coaching staff as an assistant hitting coach.
There you go. So Turner Ward,
Mike Maddox, Jeff Albert, Stubby Clapp, Papa Warner, Willie McGee, all returning in 2022.
So Turner Ward, I'm Googling this as we speak because I believe he was Paul Goldschmidt's.
Yeah, they're close.
Right, he gave him one of his Silver Slugger awards. I think, did Derek Gould say that? Or report that?
Yep.
That they're very tight.
And then somebody else just tweeted, so Turner Ward's going to take over when they fire Jeff Albert. I didn't say it. Mosaic, if you're listening, I didn't say it. Somebody else did on Twitter.
Jeff Albert's not going anywhere.
Yeah, no.
He seems like he runs the show.
Well,
they're firing guys because of him.
Look, that's the thing. We know that was a component. Was that the main component? We don't know. I know we speculated about that a lot. But he ain't going nowhere when you choose whether that was a huge part of the philosophical differences. If you're choosing to go with that route over a manager who's had 3.5 winning seasons and he was manager of the year and took you to NLCS, that shows you right there that I don't think Jeff Albert is going anywhere anytime soon.
He's got something going on.
Great show, everybody.
Good job, dudes.
Thank you.